Hello and welcome to Money Life. This is Sucheta Dilal. Today let's talk about our savings. Things are looking bad. We've started a fourth lockdown in Maharashtra and Bombay and many other states. Yet all the concessions that were granted during the COVID-19 lockdown have been lifted from 1st July. This is something that all of you as savers need to look at. So if you have the habit of going 6 or 7 times to the ATM to withdraw small amounts of money, you will start having to pay after the third one or the fifth one. So look at what your bank account is, what the rules are, and remember that many other concessions, including things for provident funds and post offices, have ended. Google it. We ourselves have written about it in Money Life, www.moneylife.in, and you need to look it up. This is important for your money. Now, the second part is, what do you do with the investments that you have? So there are people who've lost their jobs. They have to worry about ensuring that their savings really go a long way so that they can ride out this bad period until the income goes back to normal. Then there are other people who are wondering what to do, because over the last 2 years, you've had a series of spectacular blow-ups in the financial world. You had Franklin Templeton, you've had Yes Bank, where people were told 81 bonds were absolutely safe. In fact, they were made to move their fixed deposits to 81 bonds. They have gone. ILFS has failed. You had a whole lot of other mutual funds being in trouble. You had large failures like HDIL bringing down PMC Bank. You had Diwan Housing. So the worries are very, very genuine and understandable. So what's been happening in the lockdown? A lot of professionals, doesn't matter what else they do in life, whether they're doctors, engineers, IT experts, are spending time attending investment seminars. People are calling us up and saying, what should we do with our money? You know, the short answer is, don't panic and do anything in a hurry. Remember that song, Take It Easy policy? That is what you need to do. I know it sounds hard, I know it sounds callous, but it is the smartest thing that you can do. So let's look at 3 things that happen during a lockdown or during a bad time. You need to increase your income. You are locked up at home, so you're doing a lot of buying online and you need to be safe about that. Most of us have a big chunk of our money in mutual funds and banks, and we are also worried about insurance in case something goes wrong, especially with COVID being rampant and rampaging, right? So let's answer all of these things. Let's start with online shopping, because that's where a lot of you are spending time. Many who have never shopped online are discovering it now, because you need to. People need to buy online, want deliveries at home, you want to be safe. So on 19th April, I'd written an article about how we need to get ready for a pandemic of fraud and corruption. Some people thought it was far-fetched. We have seen how it's rolling out. Okay, and some of the things that I mentioned are online frauds. We are not talking about corruption in government buying. That's a separate issue which is happening. We are talking about how individuals, fraudsters target individuals to part them from their money. So online shopping is a great area where people pretend, set up sites. So last week you would have heard about how Dr. Sanjay Baru, who used to be my editor in Financial Express, and he was advisor to the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, got cheated because he ordered 24,000 rupees worth of liquor online, obviously from a site that was unknown. Now, you can buy liquor from known sites like Nature's Basket. He chose to buy elsewhere. Because it's Dr. Baru and he's influential, the police get cracking. Doesn't happen with you and me. In fact, we get hundreds and thousands of complaints because the police will not move for small amounts. And yes, 24,000 also may sound big, but it's not big. But in Dr. Baru's case, they trace the cyber criminals to Rajasthan. In fact, a place in Rajasthan is the hotbed of this kind of crime, just as Jamtara is for all kinds of phishing and wishing, where they make calls to you, pretend to be from a bank, say your phone is locked up. These are known to the police. There is no action because there are too many complaints. You have to be safe, right? So what is the solution? Stick to big, well-known names, at least at this point of time. This is not the time to experiment, because there is not much you can do to get grievance redressal. As it is, India is a country of very, very poor grievance redressal. lack of regulatory accountability across sectors, whether it's SEBI, insurance, RBI, you don't get much help from the government, and you cannot go to court because it's slow and expensive and even more difficult in the lockdown. So you have to take care of yourself. One way is to stick to 4 or 5 big well-known names, right? Exactly the same when it comes to banking. So if you have your money in really top private banks, you're relatively safe, be there. I know there was a lot of panic last week. In fact, a friend called up to say what's going on in Axis Bank. The rating agency Standards & Poor has been downgrading certain banks, had put out a poorly drafted, the headline was poor, press release which the media misinterpreted, and there was panic, there was a lot of discussion in WhatsApp groups. But if you're with the large private banks, nothing to worry about. If you are with a public sector bank, thank God for it being a Sarkari bank, doesn't matter what the rating agency says, your money is safe. Another piece of good news is that 5 lakh is protected. So don't stretch it, because even after the bank goes bankrupt, it takes a long time before you start getting your money. It's not that you have access to 5 lakhs straight away. Remember PMC Bank? Only 1,000 was allowed to be withdrawn, and it was then slowly stretched. It's only now, 9 months later, that the whole 1 lakh is being allowed to be withdrawn after a lot of pressure. So don't test it that much. But a couple of private banks have been offering really high interest rates, 6.5% to 7% even on savings. Maybe a good idea to experiment with some of them, as long as you're keeping the amounts reasonable and within the insured amount. I'm saying I'm aiming this at middle class savers like myself. Okay, ours is hard earned tax paid money. We are not talking about big disposable incomes, large earnings. We are talking about middle of the road people. So don't tell me about a few who are worth 50 crores and 100 crores who will experiment. This video blog is not for them. So you can experiment up to a certain amount. Now, lots of people would say, what do you do about Yes Bank? Yes Bank is offering a 25,000 COVID insurance cover to people who open new accounts, who are below 60 and who are in a certain age group. Well, 25,000 is neither here nor there. You have to remember it's past. This is the same bank which is continuing to ignore 81 bondholders, where the same relationship managers persuaded them to remove money from fixed deposits and put them in these bonds, and the bonds were wiped out overnight. I mean, they may have their reasons. This matters in court. I think it's inexcusable that people will down like this, especially individual investors who had been cheated by the very bank. The new owners, the new management cannot wish that away. That's my view, right? So 25,000, if you have COVID, is neither here nor there. Instead, look at insurance. Now, don't go berserk running after a new COVID insurance, because the government and the insurance regulator has already announced that if you have a good health policy, it has to cover COVID. So at the most, when you're getting a little shocked at the kind of hospital bills that are coming out, you may want to top up. But if you have a basic good health insurance, it covers COVID. You can do a little bit of top up. If you don't have it, you need to worry about getting a COVID insurance. And again, stick to the large companies. Look at websites like ours which mention what are the pros and cons, and then make your decision. So, like I said, not doing anything is good. Public sector banks are safe because they are public sector. Yes, you may get a little less interest, but don't rush into fixed deposits. In fact, this is exactly the time when people have been lured into investing in all kinds of corporate fixed deposits. Even here, again, 4 or 5 of the top companies, some housing finance companies, including those that have been floated by government institutions, are safe. So you may get a percentage or 2 more over there. Those are safe. Look for them. But don't go all over the place, because some investment advisor will tell you, some builder, some broking company is offering you a high return. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for things which offer you P2P, where you are responsible for who gets the money. You have no idea how it comes back, but the interest rate looks good. This is not the time to experiment. This is the time to focus on keeping your core capital safe. COVID is going to go away sometime, or we are going to learn to live with it. Don't rush to make decisions that are bad, because in India, grievance redressal is really, really poor. You can't go to the police in times of COVID or to courts and expect redressal. So keep your money safe. That has to be your primary focus. The last thing is, what do you do if you have lost your job, you have outstanding loans, you have EMIs to pay? I notice from the questions that come to our helplines that people seem to be unaware that they've gone and stretched themselves before COVID. They have 3 or 4 loans. Those loans came in very, very easily because you just applied. Everybody was jostling to get your business. You had no default. You were paying. So you got your car loan, you got a credit card outstanding, you had some other personal loan, sometimes even a big fat housing loan. Today, you don't know what to do because either your increments have been rolled back, you've lost your job, or people have just stopped paying or cut salaries. You're in difficulties. Unfortunately, a lot of people seem to think that there is somebody sitting out there who will give you a big fat loan that will consolidate all these 4 or 5 loans and convert them into an EMI. It does not happen, not after you have defaulted. So the world is wonderful until you have your first default or repayment difficulties. After that, things are not easy. So you are not going to get that. The only way is to increase your income or be able to show your lender that you are going to pay off some of it. Now, where does that money come from? One of the big pieces of good news here is the price of gold has gone through the roof. It's touched 50,000, right? Now, we Indians love gold. All of us have some amount of gold jewelry that ought to be in cash just now. We kept it for a rainy day. We are not going out and wearing it as ornaments. There are no weddings to go to. So this is the time when you need to save your skin. Stop your interest rates ballooning. Stop outstandings, especially credit cards. Credit cards are the worst of the lot. You have to close them out, right? So if you have a bit of gold, this is the time to sell it and repay some of those loans. And don't go and get a gold loan. We have written several articles about how that gets you deeper in debt. This is an investment and saving that you have. Don't pledge it. You can actually buy it back, sell it, reduce your loans. Once you reduce it, you may find a lender who's willing to consolidate and give you an EMI. That is the route. And I'm saying it on this blog because we have so many questions and people are at the level of not even beginning to understand the basics of their problem or how deep in trouble they are. The second way to counter this is that you will have to give up your ego and look at ways to boost income. People are giving online tutorials. People who have a skill are using it to generate art, to do cooking. There are people who are buying these things online. So find different ways in which you can boost your income. All is not lost. Everybody who's enterprising have found ways. We have heard newspaper stories about jewelers who have started selling vegetables. People who are, at a certain income level have lost their jobs, have gone into join Swiggy and Amazon to help with deliveries. There are a certain kind of jobs. Online tutorials and online help is a big one because people are studying online. So find a way to boost income. To consolidate what I said till now, take it easy. Don't be in a hurry to do anything. There are too many people out to defraud you. So avoid being cheated. Keep your savings safe. Second, go for safety, go for quality, go for big names and big numbers. Large banks, safer. Large online companies, safer. You get your money back, you can exchange. Thirdly, if you have some gold, this is the time to use it to reduce your outstanding and commitments, especially if you have loans and the interest clock is ticking. Remember, in a moratorium, all that happens is that the interest accumulates. There is no Supreme Court order as yet. So you need to reduce those loans. And finally, find ways to boost income. All the best. I know it's not easy. We are in tough times and it requires tough solutions. Thank you.